Greetings! This is Nick's Impromptu Reviews. I am Nick, and today I'm going to review King of Tokyo. If you like big monsters and lots of action, then buy this game, King of Tokyo!
Alright, I apologize for that really bad Kaiju movie impression. Yeah, that was wrong in so many ways. I apologize. Apologize to all my Japanese American friends, and I do have a lot of them. So, yeah, maybe I carried it too far. Okay, anyways, but you know what? That's pretty much what this game is about. It's a Kaiju film in a box, or in other words, a Japanese monster movie like Godzilla, Gargantua in a box. And the theme, yeah, that's pretty much the theme, okay? You're competing monsters, and you're trying to be the king of Tokyo, right? This is created by Richard Garfield, and if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, it should, because he is the creator of Magic the Gathering, okay? And I think he created Robo Rally as well. Well, King of Tokyo, it's nothing like Magic the Gathering, I'll tell you that. It's a real simple Yahtzee-style mechanic. You roll dice, and you get to re-roll the ones you don't want up to a third time, and that third time you take what you want, okay, and you utilize them as best you can. Okay, now it has a theme rather than poker like Yahtzee. The theme is monsters trying to control Tokyo, trying to do as much destruction in Tokyo, and even fighting each other. Okay, it's a real simple mechanic, but is it good? Let's find out.
Okay, so here I have a setup for 3 players, and there's really not much to do. You have this small board in the middle that has a total of 2 spaces. In fact, we'll only even need 1 just for a 4 or less player game. You only need 1 space. Okay, then over here you have a deck of cards which gives you abilities and maybe extra equipment that you can use. And here you have the important dice. These green ones are a little different for something special. And then you have, each player has their own cardboard cutout, they have their own scorecard, and they have all this dice to roll. Okay, so to start, each character card, they're going to have their victory points, which is indicated by the star reader, to 0, and their starting health, which is indicated by the red heart section. You'll start out with 10. Okay, so you have 10 lives and no victory points. And to win, you can win by 2 ways. You can either be the last one standing. In other words, if all the other players have their health reduced to 0 and you're still alive, you win. Or the first player to get 20 victory points wins the game. And that's the objective right there. Okay, now this is the main board. Now, the board's really basic. It has only 2 spots total in this board, but even in this 3-player game, we're only going to use 1 spot, which is Tokyo City. Now, the importance of that is that when attacking, everyone from the outside attacks whoever's inside. But in contrast, the person inside gets to attack everybody outside. Okay, so there is an advantage. Also, when you enter Tokyo, you get 1 victory point, and if you manage to last 1 entire round where everyone takes a turn and you're still there, you get a bonus 2 victory points, okay? However, you will not be able to heal in King of Tokyo, so there is a risk-reward for hanging in Tokyo. Okay, now let's look at the dice here. Alright, so on the dice, it's a 6-sided dice. You're going to have the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and you're also going to have a lightning bolt, which represents the money or the energy. It's basically the currency that you need to use to buy some cards. You're going to have a heart, which means that if you're below 10 health, you'll be able to heal for each heart. Heal 1 life for each heart. And then you have the claw, okay? And the claw means that if you're outside of Tokyo, you do 1 damage per claw to the person inside of Tokyo. Okay. Now, in contrast, the person in Tokyo, they get to do 1 damage per claw to everyone around, not in Tokyo. So basically, it's the people outside of Tokyo versus the people inside of Tokyo, and the people in Tokyo versus the people outside of Tokyo. Now, like I said, in a 4 or less player game, there's only going to be 1 player in Tokyo. In a 5 or 6 players, you can have up to 2 players in Tokyo. Okay, now let's look at the card deck. Now, these cards, they represent equipment or special abilities or just bonuses for your player. Okay, now at the beginning of the game and throughout the game, you're going to have 3 flipped over. Okay, and these 3 will be available to purchase. So let's take a look at some of these. And the number on the upper left, that is the cost to buy them. So that's how much energy you need to buy them, and you do that at the end of your turn. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these. Okay, so this one, it costs 3 energy, and it's a keep, which means it's kind of like an equipment. You get to keep it, and when you have it, you gain 1 victory point whenever you buy a card, so that's pretty cool. Right here you have the even bigger ability, costs 4 energy, and it's another keep. So your maximum health is increased by 2, gain 2 when you get this card. Okay, so when you get this card, you get 2 health, and not only that, your health is increased by 2. So in other words, you can have a maximum of 12 rather than 10, because 10 is the normal maximum amount of health. And this one, costs 7, so it must be pretty good. All right, this is another keep. All your attacks damage all other monsters. Now normally, if you're in Tokyo, you can do that already. So it really doesn't help for people inside Tokyo. However, if you're outside of Tokyo, not only do you do damage to the person in Tokyo or the people in Tokyo, you can do damage to everyone else. So that's pretty powerful. Okay, so let's go ahead and start a turn, okay? And if you're familiar with Yahtzee, it basically has the same mechanic as Yahtzee. You roll 3 times, you roll 6 dice 3 times, and you can re-roll any of them or keep any of them up to 3 rolls. Okay, so let's see. Let me show what I mean. So we take my 6 dice and I roll it. Alright, so I have 2 energy. Alright, a number 1, a number 2, and a 3. Okay, now I already told you what the energy does. Basically, if I keep that, I get 2 energy, which is the money, so I can buy some stuff. Okay, but let's see, I forgot to mention about the numbers. Now these numbers, if you roll 3 of a kind, they will be victory points. Okay, so right now I have 2 2s, so you know what, let me try to roll for 3 2 so I can get 2 victory points. Okay, so this is my second roll. I'm going to decide to keep those for it. I'm going to roll these 2. Alright, and let me see, I got a health. I don't really need health because I just started, I'm at maximum, so I'm going to roll again. And let's see what I get. Alright, well, this is not a good roll. Okay, well, let me cheat a little bit. Suppose I rolled a 2. Okay, so, and that's my final roll because that was my third roll, but suppose I rolled a 2. Okay, now I have 3 of a kind of the same number, 1, 2, or 3. If I roll 3 of a kind, I get the face value's victory points. So in this case, I get 2 victory points. Alright, if I decide to keep that. So I go ahead and get 2. So, and like I said, if you get 20 victory points, you win the game. Okay? Now, suppose I rolled an extra 1, an extra 2, 4 of a kind. So not only do I get the 2 face right here, I get 1 extra 1. So I would have a total of 3 if I had that. Okay? Now, here's another thing. So if I rolled 3 1s, okay, 3 1s, that is 1 victory point. Okay? And if I roll an extra 1, that'll be an extra, so that'll be 1 plus 1, that'll be 2 victory points. Now some people, they don't like it when they roll 3 1s, they think it's a waste of dice, but you know what? I say get victory points whenever you can. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, let's say I roll a claw. Alright, and like I said, if you roll a claw, okay, first of all, the first person to roll a claw on their third turn, they get to go in Tokyo. So let's say I did roll a claw. Okay, so that means I get to go in Tokyo. Alright, now because I went into Tokyo, that gives me 1 more extra victory point. Okay, now here's the problem. All these guys, whenever they roll a claw, it'll hit me. Okay, so let's see how this goes. Okay, so let's say that's my turn. I got 2 energy because of those 2 lightning bolts that I had. Well, I used to have them. Okay, so let's go to this Godzilla ripoff. And the Godzilla ripoff rolls. Check that out. So he rolled 3 1s. Let's say he'll keep that. And let's say he'll keep the claw and he'll roll these 2. Okay, and has another claw. Here's my third roll. Oh, hey, check that out. Not too bad. All right, so like I said, 3 of a kind, and you take the value of the die. So that's 1 plus another one. So the Godzilla guy will get 2 victory points. Okay, 2 victory. Oops, 2 victory points. All right. Also, he rolls 2 claws. So since he's outside of Tokyo, he attacks the person inside of Tokyo, which is the king there. And so now the king takes 2 health. So he's down to 8. All right. So now, if you're in Tokyo and you get damaged like the king here, they have the option to yield. Okay? And when they yield, that means they get out of Tokyo, and then the person who attacked them goes in Tokyo. Okay? So now if you don't yield, then you stay there, and if there's no space available, which there isn't because we're playing less than 4 players, Godzilla will have to stay out there. Okay. Now, like I said, the advantage of staying in there is if you stay 1 round, you get 2 victory points. But the disadvantage is you cannot use hearts for health. Okay. So this goes on and on. This whole system, it just goes. This whole turn, it goes on and on until everyone gets a turn, and the person who is last standing wins, or the person to reach 20 victory points wins. And that's pretty much the game in a nutshell.
So King of Tokyo, it's a really fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping game. I mean, you really feel like you're a monster just creating havoc. Now, whether you're destroying the city to get victory points or destroying other players, I mean, you can play it either way. So there are 2 basic strategies. Try to go for the victory points or try to eliminate others. And for whatever reason, my game group players love to defeat others. And that's how most people like to play. But yeah, it's just really a fun game. Very easy. And the theme really shows it's a lot of action and a lot of chaos. But it's a good, fun, controlled chaos. And it's great for the entire family.
Okay, this game is just fun. Very easy, very fun. That's how I can describe it, okay? Yeah, the Yahtzee mechanic may seem easy, but you know what? The Yahtzee mechanic is actually pretty good, okay? I mean, there's a reason why Yahtzee is pretty popular. But yeah, this is it's pretty much, the theme really comes through. It's very simple. You can teach it to anybody. If you know how to play Yahtzee, you can play this game. And the idea of just doing some major damage, rolling claws to do some major damage, and perhaps even damaging several people. Oh man, that is such a good feeling. And yeah, you really feel like it's a battle out there. So we're fighting for the King of Tokyo. Now, there's a lot of things. I mean, even this is just the base game that I just showed you. Now, there's an expansion pack. In fact, I think there's 2. There's a Halloween expansion pack and a regular expansion pack. They add abilities to each character. In the base game, all the characters are pretty much equal. There's really no special abilities, and that's okay. Even with that, with very little variation, the game is okay. The expansion pack that adds abilities, it kicks the game another notch. But even the base game is really, really solid. Yeah, it's really fun, and like I said, you can teach this to anybody, and this would go into one of my so-called gateway games. Okay, like Ticket to Ride. My gateway games, if I mentioned, are Ticket to Ride, Dominion, and this one, King of Tokyo, is right up there. Maybe Carcassonne also, and Dixit definitely. But yeah, King of Tokyo is definitely up there. And let me talk about Richard Garfield just for a second. I know I'm digressing, but I really got to mention this. For a designer to make something as deep and complex like Magic the Gathering, and then turn around and make something just simple and fun, I mean, that is just incredible. I mean, that is a very versatile game designer. Now, game designers, they usually have their own thing, like Uwe Rosenberg, all is, what do you call it? Who made Agricola, and he made Agricola and Le Havre. It's all like, Euro shipping, trading, stuff like that. And every designer has a style. Richard Bork, he has that Commands and Colors war game system, okay? And they really stick to one genre. But Richard Garfield, man, to make something like Magic the Gathering and then something like this, I mean, that just shows versatility. And you know what? That is a sign of a great, brilliant designer, okay? So, anyways, yeah, that's all I can say about King of Tokyo. It's real fun. I highly recommend it, whether you're a gamer or a light gamer. This is a good game to get. Okay, it should always be in your collection. Okay, so with that, I will give King of Tokyo an 8 out of 10. Real simple, real fast paced, real quick. It takes about half an hour, and fun for everyone. And yes, it's a good family game as well, and it's just a good. I mean, even for hardcore gamers, it's just good, fucking fun. Now, you may complain about the randomness to it, but you know what? So what? The bottom line, you're having fun. Okay? So that's it. Okay, until next time, I will see you later. Goodbye.